well, and bitter foods. Karela. Wow, Karela, bitter foods, really, because they purify the blood. While all the sugars, fats, saturated fats in particular, all these things, alcohol, coffee, even tea, tisane, which is more, how do you say tisane in English? Like herbal decoctions, herbal, so like mint tea. Things like that. Again, infusions. They're more medicinal, whereas Camellia sinensis, fermented tea, especially the way in which it's produced, is not particularly good for us. I can go through lots of. So how do we? Coffee, even worse. Chocolate, terrible. Sugars. I mean, if you actually look at the history of most of these, they were all used as medicine. So when you need it, you have a small amount, bang, it brings about change. Like many things that are toxic can actually heal us. It stimulates the body to, but it's now been sold to us as something we need to have every single day. And now you see how people are hooked on it. Okay, so to go back to, so growing food in this way, there is so much nutrients and bacteria and life in the soil that when we eat those foods, that gets transferred into our gut and gives us life, gives us vitality. And so not only is it good for us, it's really low maintenance, but it increases biodiversity. Say one of the biggest challenges on the planet right now is biodiversity loss, and this is something, by growing food in this way, we can completely reverse that. We can really, if we look at actually I can share maybe at some point like a graphic that shows how much land in the UK is utilised for growing food, for animals, meat and milk industry. How much is urban, how much is golf courses, and so on and so forth. And what we see, and then how much land is outside of the UK to feed the UK. And what we can see is something like 2/3 of the UK is dedicated to meat and milk. Meat and milk industry is the most destructive force on this planet. And if you're not vegan, then I'm sorry, you are a significant part of the problem. If you're eating meat from the meat industry, if you're drinking milk from the milk industry, you are part of the destruction of this planet. I'm sorry to say that, but that is a fact. And if we were to convert just a small percentage of that, if you actually look at how much food is actually grown here, it's such a tiny, I think it's the equivalent of like not even one of the islands on the Orkney Islands. So they basically mapped it out to kind of how much land, and then just try to physically put it into the So the Orkney Islands is roughly how much land is used for food growing in this country. Then there's fruit, and then there's cereals. Cereals is another big problem. But even if we were to go back to just growing food